Hello YouTube, and welcome to some of my new viewers that might be watching at this time. It's Sunday again, and that means it's basically my talkie time. And today we're going to do the normal, which is I'm going to answer a tag response, then look at some pickups that I had in the last 2 weeks or so, and then finally end with a bit of a talkie, if I can come up with a good enough subject to talk about. So, let's start off with the tag response, and there's this tag going around at the moment, which is your 4 gaming regrets. Now the problem with this one is I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, especially gaming related, and there's quite a bit that I actually feel bad about, and it took me a while to narrow it down to the top 4. And these are some of the ones that I still keep a gripe against me to this day, and it's still a bit upsetting about me. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, the first one that I want to talk about is many years back. My family was invited to Switzerland. We can't afford to go for those sort of trips, so a good friend of my father's invited us. They paid for everything, and while we were there, I basically saved up that previous year, the entire year, spending money there. And I bought myself this blue Game Boy Classic. It had a nice transparent box, and it was a limited edition. It was the thick Game Boy Classic, the original one, and the bundle was actually titled the Game Boy Classic. I love this little machine, even though I only had about 2 games for it. I had Paperboy and let's see, it was Paperboy and Speedball. As many of you know that's played Speedball, it's not actually playable on the Game Boy screen, but I still played that and actually did quite good at it. And the Game Boy wasn't bundled with anything like Tetris or anything, but I love the system. A few years later, I'll say about 5 years later, we went down to the coast to visit some family, and my sister's boyfriend was supposed to watch the house, and he decided he's going to do a house party. Logically, we heard of this and all of us freaked out. We phoned everyone, phoned the police to come and actually go to the house and get everything sorted and everyone out there. And when we came back, a lot of the things that was there either was broken or stuff was stolen. The house was in a mess, and my Game Boy Classic disappeared. And my only regret there is that day I was going to lock my room, and I forgot. So my room was open and they could go in there, and I had free roam. They took quite a bit of my stuff, quite a few of my games and things. Luckily the insurance paid out, and Game Boy Advance was just released in the country at that stage, and I got myself a Game Boy Advance SP, which is phenomenally awesome. I love that system. But I still am looking for a blue Game Boy Classic, a limited edition in the transparent box, so I can replace my system. That's one of my gaming regrets. The other one is not buying enough of the things that I've spotted over the years, and specifically I saw a CDX for the guy wanted 75 Rand on junk mail, and he relisted that ad 4 or 5 times. And this was when I was in high school still. I didn't have a lot of money to spend. I could have afforded it, but I just never got around to buying it, because back then, old games, who cared? Sort of effect. And as a result, I missed out on the bargain of a century, which is a Sega CDX for 75 Rand. I've never seen another Sega CDX in South Africa in the wild, and I've been collecting hard now for a decade and a half about. I just haven't seen them. They just don't pop up again. The next thing, and this is probably one of my biggest gaming regrets, and that is when I was a kid, I had a whole bunch of PC games in boxes. Every Christmas I used to get a PC game, and it would have been in the big box. Unfortunately, over the decades growing up, I didn't take good care of the boxes, and the boxes disappeared. And full boxes like Prince of Persia 2, I had a Duke Nukem Killer Time collection, and a whole bunch of others, and I just lost the boxes. And it haunts me to this day that I never kept my big box PC games in the boxes. I've still got the discs though. The discs are still in pretty decent condition and playable, but just the boxes are gone, and seeing as you don't get boxes very often here, so it's a big problem. And that brings me to my biggest regret, and the one that truly haunts me to this day, and that's the fact that I just don't have enough time to play my games. It's that simple. I just don't get around to go out, switch a computer on and play an hour or two of games once a week or twice a week even. I just don't have the time for that. My work is a constant thing, and on weekends, most of the time, yeah, I've got other projects to do, or a spanner gets thrown in the works and the power trips and I don't have power for the weekend, like what happened last weekend. And that's also why the grand reveal has been postponed. It's just terrible, and it's a sin. I collect all of these games, but I don't have the time to play them. I'm hoping that maybe sometime in my career I'll be able to pick something up that's not as demanding, that I can take some time and do some gaming, or I'm hoping that the YouTube channel grows to a point where I can start focusing just on gaming. Very few people actually do ever get to that stage. I know LGR finally got to that stage a while ago, and that's because he put in so much work into his YouTube videos. Nonetheless, I'm hoping that one day I can get to that point as well. And that's basically my 4 gaming regrets. Some more serious than others. I don't pick out the specific order. 2 of those have been haunting me for a very, very long time. But yeah, that's my Tiger Spots this week. And if anyone else wants to answer what their gaming regrets is, just post down below in the subjects, or write a comment, or make a video response. It's always even better. I don't, with the tag responses, most people don't, I don't wait for people to tag me. I look at what's going floating around and I just answer them. And I feel the same way for everyone else watching my videos. Just answer them. Don't wait for someone to tag you, because you probably wait forever. And that brings me to the second part of the Sunday Talkie, and that is my pickups this week. It's been about 2 weeks since I've done a video. There's been some good stuff floating around. The charity shops have been getting stuff in again. March, I take it, is a bit better. So I've been picking up a lot of loose PC games as always, because I don't wait for the boxes to turn up. It will just never happen. And there's been some good stuff. So let me just cut the video just to make sure that the time doesn't interfere, and then I'll talk about that. In today's pickups, I also just want to discuss this new venture that I went through. I've joined Retro Unlim. You've probably seen, most likely, that I've got a new intro video on the front of my screen there, and I'm going to be posting my games and my reviews and talkies and repair videos there as well. This isn't going to affect my normal YouTube schedule. I'm probably going to upload 1 or 2 things there and give them a timed exclusive for some of my things. And yeah, it's all this is going to do is going to allow more people to enjoy the videos. And if more people enjoy the videos, more people are going to comment down below, and we're going to be able to talk a lot more about the things we enjoy and the passions we've got for what we do. And that's what I enjoy from my YouTube channel and why I do YouTube videos. It's because of the sharing. It's not just for anything else, it's because I like to share my experiences. And to be honest, nothing brings me as much joy as seeing people comment down below and talking to them about things. So that's going to be the only change to my channel, is you're going to see a little intro video at the start, and 1 or 2 things might be a couple of days exclusive on retrounlim.com, which I'll post a link in down below. But except for that, nothing much is going to change. Everything's going to remain the same. Still great content. I've got lots more repair work and things to do. This weekend actually I did quite a few machines for Christy, and yeah. Welcome back. It's been a decent week this, and quite a few of these I've actually been after for a while, and some of these I've just got it because it's nice to have in my collection. So I'm going to start off with some that are not so interesting and then work my way through. The first one is Stellar Forces, which is basically a collection of user-made map packs for StarCraft. This one is distributed by MicroStar Software, and it has apparently quite a lot of levels. It has about 50 of them. The reason I got this is a lot of the user-generated map packs and things for StarCraft disappeared over the years. The websites were taken down, and they've disappeared, and as a result some of those map packs you just don't get them anymore. And StarCraft being as popular as it is, some of them are pretty darn amazing, to tell the truth. The next thing that I picked up is Disney's Tarzan action-adventure game. If I remember correctly, I did have this as a kid growing up, and it's like a 3D platformer. It was pretty decent at the time. A lot of the Disney games actually were quite decent. They weren't amazing, but they were pretty playable and pretty decent. Also got Carrier, and that's actually by Discovery Channel. It's interactive, sort of like encyclopedia, except there's not a lot of information in here normally, and always fun to go through for 5 minutes or so. I also saw this, and this was actually, I got this out of pure, curiosity, and that is Pokemon Red version, Got to Make 'em All, which is like one of these developer kits. But the interesting thing is, this is actually by the Learning Company, so being a Nintendo branded product by the Learning Company for PC makes this very interesting. It has the disc and everything in there. And it's just pure out of interest. I just want to see what this is about. I like Pokemon, I really do. Right, another thing that I picked up on one of the other charity shops is the Warcraft Frozen Throne expansion. Surprisingly, I didn't have this. Might as well close the serial number. I didn't have this, and I never got into Warcraft 3 very much. It's simply because the whole point of it being like RPG strategy mix turned me off. I love Warcraft 2. I probably spent hundreds of hours in Warcraft 2. Warcraft 3, the whole RPG aspect of it turned me off. And as we were going through all the CDs that I took that day for the place, they had a loose Warcraft 3 as well, which I grabbed. It's the collector's edition. I've actually got 1 year where the disc has been cracked, and the CD key works though, so I've been using a pirate to install it. I just typed in that CD key, and that worked fine for now. And now I've got a legit CD to put in there, which is awesome. I also picked up Leisure Suit Larry, which is the Love for Sale. It's one of the later Leisure Suit Larry, so I'm really not expecting great things from it. And for those wondering, all of these loose PC games, they're 10 rand, $1, or less than $1 with the current exchange rate. And now we get to the interesting things that I'm actually glad to have in my collection at the moment. The first one is Outcast. It's an Infogames game. It's actually rendered with voxels instead of polygons, and it's just so interesting how they actually made the engine and how it looks. All of these terrain generators generally use voxels because it's easier to use and to program for, to create them, and it has this nice effect in the game. The negative fact of that is 3D acceleration doesn't work very well with the game, and I never played this as well, so it's a good opportunity to finally sit down and play Outcast. It's on GOG at the moment. Also picked up Arc Fatalis by Joe Wood. I had a look at this 3D RPG game. Oh, it looks great. I can't wait to sit down and play that. I found the Hellfire Diablo 1 expansion in the box there. The interesting thing of it is it actually has a Half-Life 2, a Half-Life 1 advert at the back of it, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, it's Diablo, or what more can I say? And it's a Diablo 1 expansion. I also found Myst 3 Exile. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of Myst. I love the Myst series. And I did have this. I had this in the budget box, DVD boxes. I loaned it to one of my friends, and the game got feet and it was never returned to me. So it's nice to have this one again. I think I've now got the full Myst collection again in my collection. I've got all the Myst games, excluding the ports of course, because there's so many Myst 1 ports. And the last one, which I go to this one place like every week, and this has been there like 3 weeks. I'm almost dead sure, but I never picked it up and actually read what it was due to the cover looking the way it did. That is Magic Carpet. And I know Magic Carpet. ADG actually did a fantastic review of this game, and it goes into depth about the mechanics and everything. It's a great game, but because the cover looked the way it did, my eyes didn't register the name to start reading it, because I look for certain things on covers to know if it's a PC game or not, because there's thousands of CDs, music CDs at these shops, and you have to scroll through all of that music to find a couple of PC games. And luckily it back caught my attention this time round, and I saw that it is Magic Carpet for PC, and I'm absolutely stoked to have this for my collection. It's a fantastic game. For those of you that don't know, you actually fly on a magic carpet, you get good magic tiles, bad magic tiles. You have to destroy these areas, and it's a great game. It's made by Bullfrog. It's one of their best. Not quite Theme Hospital, but something different from them. Okay, and all of these big boxes of the CD case, jewel case games was $1 each. So yeah, that's the price of those. And then I found some of these DVD cased games as well. These are 20 Rand each normally, except for one which I'll give you a different price for. So about $2. The first one is the Heroes Collection. This actually has Heroes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 on one DVD. So times like that, I don't mind picking up the budget title for that if it's 20 Rand, because I can just plug in a DVD-ROM in one of my old classic PCs, and 9 out of 10 times the games run just perfectly. Sometimes they use DOSBox to emulate. You copy the content out and copy it into DOS, and you can play it natively on the proper hardware, which is what I like to do. I also got Freedom Force from Marvel. I've actually heard good things about the game. I haven't played it yet. It's a brawler, so it might be quite good. And I finally got a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, still with its sleeve on. Normally these sleeves get removed, and EA actually, if you have a look here, this is at that awkward stage when computer game manufacturers are looking for alternative cases for their games, and EA actually had these big thick cases, and they used to stick them in a box. Eventually they got rid of the boxes and only put the cases up, and they just don't have as much of an appeal as the big box PC games do. And without the DVD cases, I actually prefer to these without the boxes, but seeing as this is in the box, that's nice. I like the way this looks, and it's just a shame that they don't do this anymore. And that's all. Knights of the Old Republic I paid 60 Rand for. That's about $5 something other with the current exchange rate, so not bad. I also picked up finally a Wiimote with a built-in Motion Plus. I could finally play Zelda Skyward Sword. I've had that game for a while now, and I just couldn't play it because I don't have a Motion Plus. I own like 4 Wii's, but I don't own a Motion Plus, and I got this for 69 Rand. It's original Nintendo controller, because I checked the back, I take the battery cover off and check that it's authentic. And yeah, I could finally play that game. And for 69 Rand, which is about $6 odd, it's a great thing to actually finally be able to play the Motion Plus games, because there's quite a few of them that's pretty darn good. And that's all for the pickups this week, for the last 2 weeks. Nothing out of the ordinary except for Magic Carpet. nothing truly amazing or spectacular. I'm trying to hunt down more consoles and things. They're close to impossible to get at the moment. You just simply can't buy them. No one has in stock. No one keeps them anymore. And that basically brings us to the talkie today. And yeah, as you can see, I've got a lot of games, and seen as one of the things that we just spoke about is gaming regrets. And that's going to bring me to my biggest fear in life, and that is that one day I'll get home and there was a fire or someone broke in, which is a very real reality in South Africa, and I'll find my entire collection gone. Everything that I've collected missing or stolen or burned. And that brings us to the talkie now. What would I do in that situation? Nothing to play and everything gone. I'll be honest and say that even though I'll probably regret it later on, I would quit collecting. Collecting takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and it costs a lot. And having something that you spent 50 years on destroyed or missing would just take the fun or the joy out of it for me again. I would probably go and buy a cheap laptop because I don't have insurance, and use emulators for most of the stuff, and DOSBox like quite a few other people do these days, because the emulators of DOSBox isn't as bad as it used to be. It's very close to real hardware at the moment. It's not perfect, and I'll probably do that then instead of physically collecting all of the consoles and the games and things. It's just too costly to replace everything. I'm sure that even if I go out, insurance locally here, it costs a lot, especially when you tally up the value of your games. The previous, my parents' insurance, when I was living with them still, they would give you, I think it was 10 rand a loose game if it gets damaged, unless you specify a value for it. And if I specify a value for everything here, the insurance will probably cost me 10,000 rand a month, which is $1,000, the equivalent of my salary, just to insure everything. So that's not an option. And that brings me to my question to you today. What would you do if you got home and all of your games are gone? Someone stole it, there was a fire, there was a flood, something happened and you don't have your games. What would you do? And with that thought of the day, it's HB Zeta signing off. Until next time, goodbye.